This next method involves conversion of single entry into double entry. Now, when do you follow? Which system do you follow? Do you follow the statement of affairs method, or do you follow conversion of single entry into double entry? That while it is entirely up to you, it really depends on the degree of completion. Depends on the degree of completion. What do I mean by that? In case you noticed, in our Santosh's story, he did not keep any books of account. He did not keep any books of account at all. Except that he knew he had to pay some money to the breadwala. He knew he had to get some money from the hotel person. He just had one debtor and one creditor. He had a bank account, so he knew the bank balance. In this case, where he has not made any other records, it is not possible to convert his single entry records, whatever records he had, into double entry. But if more records, greater the number of records maintained, it becomes easier to convert single entry into double entry. Now, what happens when we convert single entry into double entry? We are able to prepare, even if we don't prepare in detail the ledger accounts, we get ledger balances, and we are in a way able to prepare a trading account, a profit and loss account, and a balance sheet. So we get an income statement and a balance sheet. When we are able to prepare an income statement and a balance sheet, that means able to convert single entry records into double entry. In the other method, the statement of affairs method, what were we doing? We were ascertaining the profit not by preparing a profit and loss account, not by preparing any income statement, not by preparing a trading account. We did not even know what the sales and purchases of Santosh are. It would not be possible for us to prepare an income statement. We did not know his expenses. But so what did we do there? We just saw what his closing capital was, what was his opening capital. We reduced the amount and said this must be the profit that he has made during the year. Of course, we make adjustments for any drawings and for any fresh capital introduced. So there is no detailed income statement or a balance sheet. But when we want to prepare an income statement and a balance sheet, we basically convert the single entry into double entry and then proceed to prepare the income statement and the balance sheet. So how do we do this? We prepare the opening statement of affairs so that we have an idea of what are our assets and liabilities at the beginning of the year. Then we can complete the ledger accounts. Those balances, what were the values of those accounts as at the end of the year? Normally, we can prepare the cash account, bank account, debtors account, creditors account. We would know the details of the expenses. So when the cash records are maintained, since details of expenses have been given, the rent paid, insurance paid, advertisement paid, etc., salaries paid, wages paid, etc., etc., we keep a list of these accounts. We could draw the ledger accounts, or we ascertain what are the items of expenses. In this way, we ultimately try and prepare a complete income statement with purchases, sales, direct expenses, all other expenses in the profit and loss, and arrive at a profit or loss for the year. So we prepare an opening statement of affairs to know what are the opening assets and liabilities we have. Prepare ledger accounts, cash, bank, all these balances will have accounts. Prepare a trial balance if possible, and prepare final accounts from this trial balance. I repeat, there is no uniform system since the availability of records may not be uniform. Every person, every business may have kept records in a slightly different manner. So there is no standard way of explaining how to convert single entry into double entry. But basically, our intention would be to prepare the income statement and balance sheet just as we do in case of double entry. In order to prepare the trading account, we need sales, purchases, stock, and maybe the rate of gross profit. Normally we have debtors. We normally know what money is receivable. A person, a business which has a lot of debtors will keep accounts of the customers. If we know the opening balance of the debtors, if we know the closing balance of the debtors, if we know the amount which has been received from the debtors during the year, the balancing figure in the debtors account would give us the amount of credit sales during the year. Similarly, with respect to creditors, in case we know the opening and the closing balances of creditors, we know the amount which is paid to the creditors, the balancing figure would be the credit purchases. It depends on what information is available. If payments made to creditors is not available separately, but we have a details, we know the details of the purchases which we have made, then the balancing figure in the creditors account would indicate the amount of payments which have been made to the creditors. So basically, debtors and bills receivable would help us to arrive at the sales figures. Creditors and bills payable accounts could help us to arrive at the credit purchases if these are not separately detailed. From the cash and bank account, a bank account, the bank passbook or the bank statement may give us details, but what we need is the while they give us the bank statement may give us the cash flows, amount of cash coming in, the amount of cash going out. We might need to know on what account they have come in and on what account they have gone out. If those details are available, then we get expenses. Similarly, if cash accounts have been kept, cash records are maintained such that the nature of the expenses, the nature of the income, the nature of the receipts and the nature of the outflows are given, then we can prepare, we know the amount of other expenses and therefore use this to prepare the profit and loss account. So for the trading account, opening stock balance from the opening statement of affairs, sales and purchases probably by preparing debtors, bills receivable, creditors and bills payable account. Closing stock may have to be physically counted. Sometimes we make use of the rate of gross profit to arrive to make an estimate of the cost of goods sold or to arrive at the amount of sales. We use the cash and bank accounts to find out the expenses paid or assets acquired, incomes received or collection from debtors, sales and such incomes or payment of any liabilities. With this, we prepare the profit and loss account and the balance sheet, indicating the statement of financial position. Let us consider one example. A firm purchased goods costing 1 lakh, sold goods costing 50,000 at rupees 75,000, and the remaining was sold to a customer cooperative society at the same gross profit as in the case of direct sales, less discount of 20%. Find the total sales of the firm. So goods were purchased for 1 lakh, sold goods 50,000 at rupees 75,000. Remaining were sold to the customer at the same gross profit. So the amounts are same actually, 50,000, 50,000. So your total sales, the initial sales was 75,000. This sales is also 75,000. But there is a discount of 20%. So 20% if there is a discount, that would come to 15,000. Therefore, we are talking of 60,000 sales. This is sales 1, this is sales 2. Add up the two, we would get 1,35,000. So in this case, the total sales of the firm is 1,35,000. Sometimes we need to arrive either at the cost of the goods sold or at the sales based on the rate of gross profit which is given to us. So the correct answer here was 1,35,000. Long-term assets being 3 lakh, current assets 80,000, outside liabilities 1,20,000. What is the owner's equity? A minute for you to think and give the correct answer. Owner's equity is nothing but assets minus liabilities. Therefore, 3 lakh plus 80,000 asset, that's 3,80,000 minus outside liabilities 1,20,000. Therefore, 2,60,000 should be your owner's equity. Owner's equity is nothing but assets minus liabilities. That is the net worth of the business. That is the amount which is owed to the proprietor. Correct answer B option, 2,60,000. Next. From the following details, calculate net profit under accrual basis of accounting. Goods sold for cash 5 lakh, credit sales 25,000, cash purchases 4 lakh, credit purchases 50,000, wages paid 20,000, outstanding expenses 10,000, rent paid 5,000 and rent outstanding 2,000. Depreciation on building 10,000, loss on sale of fixed assets 1,000. So what are we supposed to do? Calculate net profit. Come on, 1 minute to arrive at the correct answer. Net profit under accrual basis. So we have sales of, let's say, 5 lakh and 25, 5 lakh 25, purchases of 4 lakh 50, wages is 20 and 10, say 30,000, rent paid 5, rent outstanding, so that is 7,000, depreciation would be 10,000, loss on sale of fixed assets would be 1,000. So 5,25,000 minus 4 lakh 5 lakh 50, 5 lakh 61,000. No, 4 lakh 50. So 5 lakh 25,000 minus 4 lakh 98,000. Correct answer should be 27,000. 27,000. You could make a profit and loss or do it just the way I did, sales less all the expenses. Arun started a business with a capital of rupees 1 lakh. So we have the opening capital. If you ask what is the opening statement of affairs, we have cash balance of 1 lakh and capital of 1 lakh. Then what does it say? A summary cash book revealed that there was cash sales of 15,000. Then there was direct expense, miscellaneous expense, 5,000 and 10,000. That is all you had in the cash book. Very summary cash book. Cash sales is given to you and couple of expenses. The bank receipts. We had collection from debtors, 4,85,000. Money deposited into the bank was 93,000. Fresh capital introduced 25,000. We had an opening capital of 1 lakh, mind you, and you have fresh capital 25,000. So this was money coming in. Bank payments, we bought furniture 50,000, paid creditors 3,20,000. We bought investments for 40,000, salaries 80,000, insurance 7,000, rent 24, telephone 12,000. Drawings for personal use at the rate of 5,000 per month was made. Furniture was to be depreciated by 2,000, salaries outstanding 10,000, insurance prepaid 5,000. Prepare final accounts of Arun assuming that the rate of gross profit is 40%. Debtors and creditors also given to you at the end of the year, 25 and 20,000. So we have to prepare final accounts. How do we prepare final account? We need the income statement, maybe the trading account and the profit and loss account, and then the balance sheet. Now, what do you need for the trading account? In order to prepare a trading account, we need sales. Since Arun began his business, I don't have an opening stock. Otherwise, an opening statement of affairs would have given me the opening stock. So here I don't need opening stock, but I need purchases, I need sales, and I need closing stock. Closing stock also is not given to us. However, a rate of gross profit has been given. Is it possible for me to find out sales? Cash sales has been given to me as 15,000. Cash sales has been given to me as 15,000. We began with a capital of 1 lakh. Then we got 15,000 rupees, 1,15,000, and we have paid expenses of 5,000 and 10,000. And there was also deposit into bank of rupees 93,000. Now, fresh capital introduced. This was all deposits into bank is 93,000. Okay. Fresh capital introduced, 25 bank payments would also be given. Let us see whether possible. Since cash sales is given to us, is it possible for us to ascertain credit sales? We know collection from debtors 4,85,000. We know closing balance of debtors given to us is 25. If we prepare a debtors account, mind you, we know that there is no opening balance of debtors. Do we know the credit sales? No, but maybe we can find out. We know money collected, bank account debit to debtors should be 4,85,000. So can I say by bank 4,85,000, right? Debtors account, collection from debtors, and the closing balance of debtors, balance carried down, closing balance of debtors is 25,000. Therefore, what do we get? 5,10,000. 5,10,000 must be the credit sales. Must be the credit sales. We have cash sales of 15,000. Similarly, is it possible for purchases? Details of creditors also seem to be given to us. After all, closing creditors has been given. Payment to creditors has also been given. Therefore, if we do prepare a creditors account, we may get payment paid. We don't have a closing balance. Otherwise, we would have written by balance brought down. What is the payment made to creditors? 3,20,000 payment was made to creditors. 3,20,000 payment has been made to creditors. Closing balance is balance carried down. Creditors has a credit balance. So the credit side is more. Balance carried down of 20,000. So we are talking of a balancing figure of 3,40,000. What is 3,40,000? Should be the amount of credit purchases. Credit purchases. Cash purchases has not been given to us, but a summary cash book, if we make a cash book summary, we will actually make a double column cash book. But just in brief, just to understand, we started with a capital of 1 lakh. Summary cash book revealed cash sales. So we have sales, credit sales of 5,10,000 and a cash sales of 15,000. We have expenses paid. By direct expenses, let us see 5,000, and we have other miscellaneous expenses of 10,000, and we also had deposits into bank rupees 93,000. So we must have put 93,000 into the bank. Now, does this tally? What should be the balancing figure? Here I've got 1,15,000, 93, 1,03,000 and 1,08,000. There is a balance of cash, let us say, of 7,000. 7,000 should be correct. Assuming all details have been given, balance of cash book would give me 7,000, or the closing balance of cash book. Similarly, details of the bank are given. If I prepare a bank account, I will get a closing balance of bank. I have debtors, I have creditors, I have closing balance of cash, and I have closing balance of bank. What else is required for my balance sheet? Let me start once more. If you look at the trading account, we already have credit sales, we already have cash sales, so sales is taken care of. We have purchases also has been taken care of. Rate of gross profit is given to me. If I apply the rate of gross profit on sales 40%, I will get balancing figure should be my closing stock, because I have purchases, I have sales, I have gross profit, and balancing figure will be closing stock. So my trading account is actually taken care of, is already taken care of. Next, what else did I need? Were there other expenses? Yes, they have said there are. For trading account, if I take direct expenses given to me as 5,000, for profit and loss, miscellaneous expenses of 10,000. Profit and loss, what else? Collection from debtors, we have already considered. Deposits into bank. This is fresh capital. This will be added to capital in the balance sheet. Bank payment for furniture, 50,000 will go to the balance sheet. Creditors, we have already considered. Creditors taken, debtors taken, deposits into bank taken. Investment is 40,000. Again, this will go to balance sheet. These are our payments which will go to profit and loss. So salaries will go to profit and loss. Insurance will go to profit and loss. Rent will go to profit and loss. Telephone will go to profit and loss. Drawings for personal use of 60,000 has been made. That would be adjusted against capital account. Furniture needs to be depreciated by thing, again profit and loss. Salaries outstanding will be added to salary expense, profit and loss. Insurance prepaid 5,000 will be deducted from the profit and loss account. So basically we have the profit and loss account details too. The profit which is received profit would be added to the capital account. If it's a loss, it would be subtracted from the capital account. Cash book. Cash and bank book has been prepared here together. So capital account, we began 1 lakh. There were expenses, bank deposit, direct expenses, and balance was 7,000. We had already discussed this. Cash sales of 15,000. What about the bank? Bank, from debtors there was collection. Deposit, this is a contra entry, 93,000, and this was additional capital. So now I know the total capital. Creditors, payment was made. Furniture is an asset. This will go to the balance sheet. This has already been taken care of. Investment will go to balance sheet. This will go to profit and loss. Insurance will go to profit and loss. Rent and telephone will go to profit and loss. Drawings will be adjusted in the balance sheet against capital. And this is a balance of 10,000 which will also go to the balance sheet. Look at the purchase, look at the profit and loss account. We have purchases of 3,40,000, sales 5,10,000 and 15. Inventories is 30. So gross profit, inventories 30 is, mind you, a balancing figure. I didn't have this figure. We had 3,40,000 we got from by preparing the creditors account. We just check that. Creditors account had given us purchases of 3,40,000 here, and we had a credit sales of 5,10,000. So here purchases, sales, both credit and cash. Gross profit was 40% of sales, 40% of 5,10,000. So we got 2,10,000. Balancing figure was 30,000. What is that? Inventories. This would also go to balance sheet. Next, we had salaries 80 and outstanding 90,000. Mind you, this outstanding will also go to balance sheet. Insurance is 7,000, less prepaid 5,000, so 2,000 only. Rent 24,000, telephone, depreciation, miscellaneous expense, you get a profit of 70,000. Net profit of 70,000. So what is the capital? If we make a balance sheet after this, what are the liabilities we have? We have outstanding salary of 10,000. We have creditors. What was the balance of creditors that we had? We had creditors balance of 20,000. Sorry, 20,000. We have creditors of 20,000. What is the capital balance? Capital, we began with 1 lakh. We introduced fresh capital of 25,000. We withdrew 60,000 minus 60,000. 60,000 there in the cash book. By drawings of 60,000 was there. Fresh capital introduced was 25,000. Capital 1 lakh 25 minus 60,000 drawings plus 70,000 profit. Plus 70,000 profit. This would be our capital account. So how much is that? 1 lakh 25 plus 10. So that's 1 lakh 35,000. These figures are all the same figures as before. Okay. What else did we have on the asset side? As far as assets were concerned, we had a cash balance. We had balance at bank. Cash balance was 7,000. What was the balance in balance of bank? Let's just check. And debtors. Bank balance was 10,000 and debtors were 25,000. 10,000 and 25,000. 10,000 bank and 25,000 debtors. We had stock. Stock was 30,000. What are our other assets? We had furniture. Furniture less depreciation of 2,000. Before furniture, we should have written the prepaid insurance. Prepaid insurance is 5,000. Furniture needs to be thin, and there is also investment. Strictly speaking, prepaid insurance should be shown here. 5,000. So furniture and investment balances we need to just figure out how much. Furniture we purchased for 50,000, less depreciation of 2,000. So we'll make that 48,000, and investment for 40,000. Therefore, now if we total 1,35,000 plus 20 plus 10, 1,65,000, and let's do a total of this, we should get 10, 17, 25, 30, 48, 5 and 40. Also 1,65,000. So we are able to prepare final accounts, then income statement and a balance sheet from records which were partly kept. What did we do? Some information was given to that. Based on that information, we made a cash book, cash and bank book. We found out the closing balances of cash and bank. We prepared a debtors account and creditors account. We arrived at the credit sales and credit purchases from the same. From the cash book, we identified all the expense items, took them to the income statement. We had credit purchase, credit sales. Rate of gross profit was given to us. Since the rate of gross profit was given to us, we were able to arrive at the closing stock. Expenses from the cash book we put in the profit and loss account and therefore arrived at the profit for the year. The remaining assets like furniture, investment, etc. which were purchased, they were taken as assets and shown in the balance sheet. From the cash book, the other information we got was fresh capital introduced, drawings made. All this also we adjusted in the balance sheet to the capital account. Thus, we got now a tallied balance sheet.